And we do that successfully because it is an operation that is fully integrated, right from when passengers come out of international arrivals, to check-in, to taking them to the lounge, to handling their baggage, to allocating passengers to planes, and then executing on the flight to the resorts and back. And that integrated model has allowed us to service customers within what are best-in-class service standards that meet our customers, the resort's requirements, and do it in a way that creates a positive customer experience for passengers that come. The continuity of that business model really depends on our ability to continue to operate in this integrated manner. One of the key areas where we spent a lot of time prior to our investment was the discussion around the new terminal. Because we did realize at that point MACL had already indicated to TMA that we would be moving. And so the terms of that move, our ability to continue to control our operations, the amount of space that we would get so that we could meet the needs of our business that we had high conviction would continue to grow, and what rate we would be charged were all important elements of our discussion over several instances with Mackle and the administration at that time. And as Fauzi and Fazil will walk you through a little bit later, the commitment that we got from the board of MACL on our ability to continue to sustain our model was a key thesis that predicated our investment of almost $500 million, which I believe is the largest foreign investment into the Maldives. We have continued to invest in the TMA business, both in terms of growing the fleet, investing in our people, in terms of pilots and training, investing in our systems, in terms of upgrading IT systems, et cetera, to continue to service our customers and grow. And we're really here to speak with you and make the case that I think to continue to service the tourism industry successfully, we would request that the commitments that were made through several rounds of discussions be honored so that TMA and tourism in the Maldives can continue to flourish. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go through a bit fast because you all have the presentation as well. And as all of you all know, majority of you all would have been traveled, or most of you would have traveled with TMA. We built the infrastructure, we did the MRO, the water plant, the electricity, everything we had to do it on our own when we came. In 2014, Maldives Airport Company came and told us to move, to abandon the facility. We didn't want to move because of the runway. They said we have to move. And then we did an independent valuation as well. And at that time, the valuation was $18.5 million. The value of our buildings and the whole infrastructure. And they repeatedly, they wanted us to move, and they said there won't be compensation paid for what we have. So moving on to the next page. In 2015, right, to now, until the construction, the design, the whole thing, we were involved. A report was made. We proactively gave our input. We told how, because we had the knowledge of running a very good seaplane operation, and we were considered as the world's #1. So we gave all the input to design one of the best seaplane terminal which Maldives will have. And there were numerous correspondence with MACL that we had about the seaplane terminal. And also, I think in 2000, it says on the 7th September 2016, MACL sent us a report on the new seaplane terminal. We gave our input on that as well to MACL. In September 2018, September 18, 2017, right? They came us, MACL proposed a 15-year lease. And you can see what we have requested in July 2014 and what MACL has given us. There is a table which is there. It is in this page, you can see here. All right? So this is what that they came up to us in September 2017. Also, in October 2017, they very clearly stated in the letter the board approved and how much they are going to charge us and how much 10.35 per square meter and $5 per passenger. And this letter was addressed to me and signed by Hussein Fazil, and we have kept, there's a copy for you, the letter. The next, you can see that as well. Moving on to the next page, where he clearly, Pawan mentioned to you, where Bain Capital made the investment. It's very clearly stating, right, how much of square meters that they are going to give us and what is the rate. And the next page also again says 31,000 square meter and 15 years. It's very clearly stated by MACL. I'm not going to go through word by word. It is very clear. And I mentioned to you before, MACL has repeatedly said that they will not compensate, and this is the rate that they gave us. 18.5 million investment that we made, they said that they will not consider. So we didn't have anything, we were unable to ask when they said they cannot give us. And in December 2017, when Bain made that investment, I was at TMA, and they clearly, this letter was one of the reasons for them to make that investment. And there are pages going on after that. We got a contract, right? The contract came on which date? October 2018, September 2018. You can see the correspondent agreement. I have the agreement with me. We can furnish you a copy. What we did, we made our comments to the agreement and we sent the agreement back. The agreement clearly given us 15 years lease. MACL has given us that. Excuse me. Even today you can go to MACL and ask. We have given our comments to the contract. And you move to the next page. Here you can see again, right, the space which is being given to us. As you know, TMA enjoyed, until today, we enjoyed a separate terminal. And we were pushed to a common terminal without compensation. We agreed because we saw a runway is coming up, which is better for us, for everyone. And finally we agreed to that. And even the space allocation was less, 19,000. And you can see there is a common area and for the other operators. Even when the initial proposal came, I would like to tell you the draft, right? In that draft, they did not have to the, to the other operators. So we highlighted that and they incorporated that in their design. So we mentioned that very clearly, right? You have to have for the other operators, and it was incorporated. And finally, which is being agreed, right, space allocated was 19,000 on a 28,000 square meter. And this is what that we take. And yeah, and it was also reconfirmed in August 2019. It is the heading which clearly says the space which is being given. All we have in writing by MACL. And if you move on to the Auditor General's record, report. This report, if you take, it did not consider the MACL, the TMA, the design aspect that we discussed, that never it considered. And also it never considered the 18.3 million, the compensation. So we have furnished this information to him, and we have told how much we are getting from the launch revenues. Nothing was considered, and it has been stated differently. And also one important thing that Auditor General missed was he never said that MACLS have a commitment towards TMA. The commitment was made in 2017, and all the way along until, I told you, October 2019, MACL is reaffirming the space that is given to us. So that is never been mentioned in the Auditor General's report. So that is a big miss that we feel that Auditor General has done. And as you know, people were telling that 47.3 million can be taken from these launches. Now, we know how much we get from the launches. This is the gross revenue, excluding the rent. Excluding the rent. So, to make things very clear, we bought an independent auditor and we did this. And you can see how much are the figures that we are getting from each year. That is very clear. And also just consider this. We carry 450,000 passengers a year, right? If you are going to get 47 million, divide that, that is $100 per person. Can it be afforded? I don't think, right? That is a very high figure for a launch, right? It is, I don't know how the number has come, right? And also he says, a square meter, we cannot again compare this with the international terminal. International terminal carries much more higher passengers than us. We get only a small number of the passengers. And if you take that even from a terminal, how much of passengers that they move in a terminal, and if you divide that, I don't think it will come to $100. It will come less than $25, right? How much they charge. And also take a family which goes, we say a family of 4, which goes, and they are going to pay $400 as launch charges. It is not going to work. The seaplane operation will come to an end. And I believe, and we all know this is an infrastructure project done by the country, and the project cost is 47.2 million. I am not sure how much is the seaplane cost, which I hear it is around 26 million, right? Even if you take 47 million, right, the IRR is 1 year. If it is 26 million, within half a year you will get it. I am not sure whether it is right. So we believe, firmly we believe that is wrong. That is, it cannot be, which is not right. This figure has cost a lot of panic, that they can make so much of money. It cannot be made. People, if you bid even, people will not take the launch at this price. Why? Just having TMA managing own launches, it matters to us, right? As I mentioned to you, all of you have flown with us, and you know very well, when we state a time, it is a rough time that we give. We will fly on that time or the time will move. The reason is our operation is very unique. We have a service commitment to the resorts. We are very different from other operators. We are not a chart operation. We are not a schedule operation. Simply to put it in, if you take an international airline has an aircraft and they assign passengers. What we do completely the opposite. We have aircraft, we have passengers, and we assign the limited resources, the aircraft and the crew. So we do completely opposite of what others do. Our schedule is so flexible. So we control the whole movement of the passengers. Why today the seaplane industry in the Maldives has been successful? Why the resorts believed in us? At start, most of the resorts were around Malé Atoll, and today it has gone. And mostly people want, when they build, they like to build around the seaplane, because we were able to provide a service where the customer is happy. And you know, the weather can go bad, the international flight can get delayed, several things can go wrong. At the resort, they don't pay, but we take all this to us and we try to make it right. So that's why our schedule is changed, and that is why we need the control of managing it. We manage our aircraft, you know, is 19-seater, and normally we carry 15 with luggage. And when we make the flight, we have to bump the passengers or the luggages. So we have to do, because it will overweigh. So at the last minute, we pull the luggages out. So these are very important for us to make it success. Otherwise, this would have been failed. We never give a minimum or max to a resort. Even with 0 passengers, we will go to bring the departures. That is the commitment that we have given. So why we were so focused, and we want that our operation, yes, we fly. At the same time, majority has done at the back office and controlling the whole thing. So that is why that we have asking for this space. And I go to the last one. No, sorry. The facts is, as I said before, it is 28,000 square meters and we are getting 19,000 space allocated, and there are 8,800 square meters left for the other operators. And also, we are in the media, it's said that we want to clarify it to everyone because we are here. They said there has been no agreement signed between MACL and TMA. There is no agreement signed, but the agreement is given, we didn't sign. The agreement was sent, and also there are commitments, there are letters I have stated which is being given. So it is there with us. The commitment was given by MACL for us about the space, the duration, and the rate. It is very clear to us. And also another thing is, the media says about Mr. Afif, a shareholder and a board member. He is no more a shareholder at TMA. He is a board member at the TMA.
Why so important that for us?
Huh?
Why Afif is so important for us?
No, I think in the media it came, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing that I want to just make sure.
People love him to be a board member plus shareholder.
Huh?
People love him to be a board member plus shareholder.
No, Jabir, the thing is...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll continue with this. Right? And also, there were some announcement by the finance ministry regarding the space and the duration. In that it clearly stated the space what is being given to us now will be given at the rate that we have. Basing on the commitment which was given from 2017 to now, we have signed up with the resorts and stated that we will be giving lounges to them. That is already committed. You all will know how many resorts came up during the last one and a half years. I think we have more than 12 to 15, 12 for sure I know we have signed. New ones which has came up. So we have given them the commitment that we will, because they need this luxury end, they want a space, and we have committed to that based on MACL's word. So the space which we have now, you know, from the time when the building started, we were unable to do anything much. Even for our, what do you call, staff, office operational space, to lounges, to everything was stopped. We had to squeeze it in. So always we tell, okay, wait for some time, there will be better. That's what that we were been doing, and we told when we move into the other one, it will be given. So the space which is stated, or the letter that we understood, I can say the way that I understood, is less, and it will not be enough for us to do our operation. And also imagine these resorts, that the lounges that you go, we give the 4 walls to them and they have to do the rest. When they have to do the rest, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to make it. And we cannot go and tell a 2-year period you do this and we do not know the certainty. As well as to us, we need certainty to operate, even to the fleet, to the manpower, to everything. I need certainty. Otherwise, without certainty, we cannot run our business. So, in an airline, that is very important for us. So, what we are asking from you is to keep the commitment which was given and give the space that has been agreed to us. Yes.
No, thank you, Fauzi. And I'll just reiterate the last point, which is, for us, as I mentioned before, we really, strongly believe in the bright future of tourism in the Maldives and TMA's ability to support that growth and continue to make it one of the best destination for customers in terms of their experience. But for us to do that, we have to continue to operate in the integrated way we have for the last several decades. And that model is predicated on our ability to operate our terminal and have the space that we need. The commitment from MACL, and not just from an individual, but a letter from the board of the MACL, was a critical part of what gave us the comfort to make such a large investment in the Maldives, to say this is a country and a government that honors its commitments. The future for us, even though we have to move from our own facilities to a new shared terminal, that we will have the space and a 15-year commitment where we can continue to invest in the business and grow. And so I think I would just reiterate our request that please the commitments be honored that were made. And I assure you we will do everything along with Fauzi and Fazil and the whole team to continue to invest in TMA to make that a very successful part of tourism in the Maldives. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Now I would open the floor to the members for questions regarding the mic off, regarding the presentation. So first I will give the opportunity to Honorable Ibrahim Sharif.
Thank you, Chairman. From the statement you made, Mr. Fauzi, I understand that we can conclude that you don't have a written contract with MACL regarding the space allocation or at what price you will pay. My first question is,
Can you repeat that, Honorable?
Yes, I will repeat. From the statement you made just now, we can conclude that you don't have a firm contract signed with MSCL regarding the space allocation, right?
I do not have a signed contract, but the contract was given.
I will give you the opportunity to answer the question. First, let the honorable member finish the question.
My first question is, do you have a firm written commitment either from the government of Maldives or the MSCL about the space allocation? We also understand that MSCL is willing to offer the equivalent of space you have had earlier. Do you agree with that? No. Thirdly, on what basis do you claim that AG's projected revenue is not realistic? Can you say what is the cost of operation, including the proposed rental payment? My third question is, why didn't you enter an agreement when it was offered to? Didn't you agree with the terms, or is there any dispute regarding the terms or the rental value? Can you answer these three questions?
Please answer the question.
Yeah. We believe that we have a firm commitment because in 2017, MACL gave a written commitment. This is the space, this is the rate, and everything was very clearly stated in the letter, and I have attached the letter. And thereafter what happened, they have given a contract. In a contract, there will be areas, the rate was clear, the space was clear, but the rest of the wordings, right? We were telling this has to be changed, and we gave our input to that. So it was very clear to us there was a written commitment. Otherwise, Bain would have not made that investment today here. So the thing is, you said about the contract. The contract, two things were never disputed. One is the rate, one is the area. But you know, as usually in a contract, there will be wordings, right? The wordings, we said, these are the wordings. We can show our, if it is needed at any time, right? These are the things that we are telling to change, or like any other contract negotiations. It was stated our comments. They clearly asked for our comments on that. So we gave our comments as well. That's what that we did. And the second that you asked, the question about the revenue projection of
the size of space,
size of space, what is given now? Can you?
And the MACL is willing to give an equivalent amount of space that you held earlier. Do you agree? Do you agree with that?
No, we don't agree with that very clearly, because MACL has given a clear commitment. Based on that, I have gone and signed new contracts with the customers stating, and for us to do the operation, we need that. And also, it is very important, I honor my commitments towards the customers. So, and your third one is, I answered the question, why didn't you sign the contract? I told you that, right? And the third one was the AG projection. You can see what we are getting, right? And I know 450,000 passengers is, anybody can come and audit, right? If you divide that by the number of passengers, $100, we cannot afford, right? Any person is going to pay that. No one is paying that even now. And it is very clear how much we get. This is an audited report I have stated, which is 2.7 million that we get. So it never can be 47 million at any given time. That is wrong, clearly wrong.
If if you agree with the terms and conditions offered by MACL, why didn't you agree with that? Why didn't you why did you come into commitments with other customers or your customers before you signed the contract with MACL? Why is that?
We have been told from 2017 we are getting, right? The rate is being agreed, the space is being agreed. So I can easily go and sign any contract. So there is no issue. So I know what is the space I'm going to get. And I know the rate what I'm going to be charged. So I have no issue to sign.
I mean, I would just reiterate, as our investment, the most important elements of this contract were the space, our ability to control our operation, the tenure of, and as you can see from the letter, these were actually MACL's proposal, not our proposal. And they reiterate both the space that will be given, the tenure, the rate, and our ability to control our operations. And while there was some minor language back and forth on the contract, we based our investment on the thesis that MACL and the government will live up to its obligation under this commitment that was made by the board of MACL, and on the basis of which we made commitments to our customers.
Right. Thank you. Now I will give the floor to Honorable Abdul Jabir.
Oh, good evening, Mr. Fauzi. A very experienced, the most experienced CEO of the companies which is operating international norms and standards. I understand in this report, of course, the managing director, Bain Capital, and the secretary, congratulations, come into this very important committee, a public finance committee. My understanding is there is agreement between you and MACL. That's what you have been telling. And also on that you have committed the space allocation for your clients. And also there have been an investment done for the infrastructure on that understanding. Now, how we can get out from this problem between MACL and your company? That is my question. Both parties. Excuse me, let me just finish, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. My understanding is everything's done. Now there must be a solution between your company and MACL. What would be the solution that you are proposing? I want to hear. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member, for your question. Our proposal would be that hopefully MACL will live up to its commitments to us, and that this would be in the best interest of both tourism in the Maldives and future foreign investment in the Maldives. The seaplane terminal was always envisioned as a multi-operator terminal. There's adequate space in that terminal for other operators to operate and grow, as well as for us to operate and grow. In terms of the committed rate for MACL, as Fauzi had mentioned, we look at investments all over the world. Most infrastructure investments have a 10 to 15-year payback. Even under our proposed rate for in the current terms, the revenue we would be paying.
Excuse me one moment. Now, my question is very simply, what is the next step? Now, these steps are not agreeable because MACL and TMA,
I will give you the opportunity to ask the second question once.
Let's go on the line of the question. I think that would be, my question is very clear.
I would say the next step should be that there is a contract that was proposed with these terms, and that MACL and we sit in good faith, finalize the contract that reflects the terms that they had proposed. We sign that contract, and we relocate to the new seaplane terminal, the new runway opens, and we all move forward. That would be our hope in terms of the next steps.
If not agreeable, I understand there is a contract. Contract is you agree, somebody propose, that is a contract. That is under Maldivian contract law. Doesn't mean that you need to sign both party paper. Final paper is final paper. To arrive solutions, are you willing to start fresh negotiation with MSCL? My question very clear. Please respond.
I think anything that would be a material departure from the terms that they had originally proposed, and our understanding of that commitment would be a serious detriment to our investment in TMA and to the future of TMA. And so we would not like to reopen that negotiation. I think that negotiation was had in good faith over many years, and MACL's board approved a final set of terms basis which we made our investment, and we would like to see those commitments honored.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fauzi and the team, and thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee members. Today is my first day. I have to leave. I have no question. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I would now give the floor to Honourable Zulgafur Musa.
As you mentioned, I believe that you have spent about 1.8 million for your old terminal, 18.5 million. But for that contract, I think it's over, and there's no government commitment to pay back this money to your company. Is it true? My next question is, do you think that the given rate from the MSCL is reasonable compared to the market price right now? The given rate, $5 per passenger, $10 per square meter, is reasonable compared to the market rates today. And also, is there any commitment other than MSCL from the government of Maldives regarding this issue? I mean, not MSCL, maybe from the previous government. Is there any commitment they have given you? Whoever, in the government. My next question is, are you willing to renegotiate with MSCL, to come, okay, finish.
Okay.
Please.
So, the first question that you said, 18.5 million, and we agreed for 10.35 and $5, and we agreed for not to take any compensation. So I believe they would have taken into consideration when the contract was done, the 18.5 million compensation to it. So we never pushed for it. We carry around 40% of the tourist arrivals to the Maldives. But we said, okay, we will not push for any compensation, nothing, and we will move. Remember that I would like to mention one thing. We didn't want to move. We were forced to move, right, from our comfort zone. We were forced to. And not paid the compensation. And 18.5, what do you call the rate that you ask whether it is reasonable? I say yes. If you take any infrastructure, right, building, it is normally 10 to 12 years. Put the IRR or the return on investment. You will be getting, if it is 26 million is this seaplane terminal, you will be getting within 4 years to 4 to 5 years. That is a very good investment. I believe a airport or a terminal should assist, the infrastructure should assist to grow the tourism industry than a money-making place where it supports the industry in a whole. So definitely, yes, still it makes money. If I do not know where we hear it is 26 million because the 47 million included the MNDF, the fire, a lot of things were included in that. Seaplane is around 26 million. So yes, of course, the rate is, obviously I can tell it is a good rate, extremely good rate. And any other commitment from MACL, I don't think so that we have from anyone else, except for this government of Maldives. We have a a 25-year to operate from that is as a foreign investment. We have that, yes. It has been given for 25 years, that is there.
Kurigan.
I would just like to add one thing. Prior to our investment, we did meet with other members of the Maldivian government, including the Minister of Tourism, of Economic Affairs, and while the MACL contract, our license to operate, and the general continued investment in the tourism within the Maldives were all part of those discussions. We obviously did not get into the contract details with them, but those conversations did give us comfort that the commitments will be honored.
That is for the present government or the previous government?
Prior to our investment was with the previous government, but we have continued to have conversations with people in the administration in the existing government, and as Fauzi said, as early as middle of 2019, the documents that were shared with us from MACL reflected the original understanding.
This $18.5 million investment, how many years you have been using this terminal? And it is built under contract or just agreement with the MACL, or you build this terminal?
We built the terminal, but we had to get the design approved because we are in a control zone. So we as and when the requirement comes, when the passenger load increases and when we need more infrastructure, we kept on building it with the permission of MACL. MACL gave us permission to build.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I would now give the floor to Honorable Hassan Lafif.
Thank you, Chair. My first question is, now you have said you have invested $500 million in this project. Now, before your investment, you would have done a feasibility and also due diligence. And I just want to know that this amount is what you paid to TMA and Morgan Airtaxi to buy their investment, right? This amount is?
This amount was paid to the shareholders.
That is to buy their investment from them, right? Now, the other question is now, when you took over the investment from TMA and Air Taxi, they would have had a contract with the Malian government and also with MACA. So that means you would have taken this investment, understanding that you will honor that contract. And according to that contract, now you will be given, okay, certain period for your operations and also the buildings you have, the buildings that they have put up. And that will give you how it will be compensated if it has to be relocated. So the other thing is now, for example, when the airport is, when there are developments in the airport, we all have to agree that sometimes we have to relocate the buildings. That's what we have done. So my question is, in this contract with the Malian government, of course, you have the contract to operate your airplanes for 25 years. But your facilities at the airport, the contract will be with MACL. So with MACL, you would have, according in even the past contract, there will be the land given or the areas given and the prices agreed. So when you have taken this investment both from those two companies, you have accepted to honor these agreements. So my question is, under that agreement, what are the the areas and the prices given to you? Is it the same as what you are negotiating now, or what you have agreed with MSA? Right. Then the other question is now, when you have this area or the land, now you are giving lounges to the resorts. What are the terms you give to them? Do you give on space basis, or do you give on passenger basis?
So maybe I'll take the first question, and Fauzi. So if I understood your question correctly, Honourable Member, it was at the time of our investment, there were certain terms and commitments that were made from MACL, both vis-a-vis the existing facilities as well as the new facilities, and is what we're asking for in line with what those commitments were? And I would say the answer is yes. We are not asking for more space. We're not asking for a different rate or different tenor. We're only asking that the commitments that were made after a long period of good faith negotiation with MACL that secures the future for TMA, that those be honored, and those were the basis on which our investment was made at the time in terms of the new facility. And I think, while just also to be clear, the part of that agreement was our understanding with them that we would not get compensation for our existing facilities. And so that is not something that we are going back on to say we would like compensation. We would only like what was agreed with them to be honored.
Thank you.
Sorry, there was a second part in terms of the
Yeah. There was a second part that you asked about the resort.
terms of area also.
It is the rates that whatever we have the space we allocated, agreed with them, this is the space that you are going to get. That's the way that we decide. Because one thing is, some resorts have very small space which came recently, but we promised them in the future you are going to get more, right? But we have only we can give. So we make launches sometimes in an area and then give. So the rates to the resorts that you ask are confidential in nature, which I cannot share each resort. Yeah.
Rates. I'm asking the basis on which you have given the lounges to the resorts. Is it on the space basis or on the number of passengers using?
Yeah, if, for an example, if the number of beds are more and if they have more passengers, definitely I have to allocate more space. So we know the number of beds of the resorts, right? Then I will allocate a bigger space. So that's what that we did.
Sorry,
my question is that. My question is that you have this space allocated for the lounge.
Yes.
Now, okay, it is being used by X resort.
Yeah, correct.
Do you charge just for the space, or do you charge the number of guests who come there and use the services of that lounge per guest basis or to the area?
I think the question is, do you charge them based on rental of the facility, or do you charge them on the usage per customer?
I got it.
In other words, do you charge a rent or do you charge a...
99.9%, 90% of the contract we can say. Roughly, this is a rough idea I'm giving, right? Don't hold on to me to this, right? I don't have the exact number in front of me. Is per passenger we charge. That is what that we do. And there are very few with rental. Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, right? But yeah, principal is per passenger.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I will now give the floor to Honourable Ilyas Labib.
Thank you. I just want to know whether, if you have, is there any existing agreement between MSCL and TMA for the current land or the terminal you are using now? And if you have agreement, how many years left you have in your lease period for the current space allocated for TMA?
Okay, presently also we have a contract which will be expiring soon, but in that it says clearly we will be moved to a new facility. That very, very clearly it states that. So initially the contract was, when we started 10 years, the contract was given 10 or 15, I cannot remember those numbers, and then the contract period became shortened because the seaplane building was coming. So now it is very, very clear, the contract. It says the present contract, it is this period, but when the seaplane building is ready and it is agreed by both parties, then you have to move. Agreed by both parties is also very important state.
Auditor General's report, page 9, it says MSC lease proposal for new seaplane terminal and responses. In September 2017, it says in its proposal, MSC said it was open for discussion for the rent adjustment cycle and upfront payment from TMA's rent advance. MSC proposed a 15-year lease and rent adjustment every 3 years, where TMA would take overall passengers and aircraft handling functions in its allocated space. TMA, basically they are saying it was open for discussion, not agreed. But in the presentation, the letter, it says they have accepted accepted the offer that you have given, but the same date this comes from both documents in different way. That's why I just want to clarify. I think you have already got this Auditor General's report, which was.
It is from this report submitted by.
Yes. In page 9.
Yes, I think as you remember, that was in September of 2017. And in December, later that year, those terms were agreed, and we received the letter which is on page, which is in the presentation that was just given to you, which said our board, I'll quote, our board has made the decision to reiterate our position and to proceed with a fixed rental rate of 10.35 for 31,000 square meters and a variable rental of 5 packs. So at the point of September, it was a ongoing negotiation, which was, as I'd mentioned before, getting clarity on where that landed was a key part, which is why our investment was only made after we received this letter in December of 2017.
I think when you were negotiating with the MSCL, there are a lot of emails and communication letters. Have you met with the MSCL board? Roughly how many meetings, and how do you make the decisions? It's just you meet them, agree something, and get the corresponding documents later, or how do you usually agree? You have been dealing with MSCL for more than, I think, 15 years.
I meet the MACL, the managing director. That is the key person that we meet, and we discuss with the managing director. At that time it was Adil Musa, and then thereafter now the acting managing director Musa Soni. So all negotiations will happen with them, and then they will communicate to us. We go and talk to, he will have his team, I don't know who they are. Right, when I go, he will have his team.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Now I will pass the floor to Honorable Yogu Bablu.
Thank you. I've seen your internal audit report for 2017, 18 and 19. As per the internal audit report, lounge revenue is not material. It is very minimal amount, about 2 million. But I have seen your investment has increased from 250 million to 500 million within very short period of time. So it indicates the lounge revenue. What I can read from these lines are, it is telling me that the lounge revenue is not a very insignificant part of your investment. So my question is, if it is the case, why are you so much concerned about the lounge space, since MSCL is ready to provide common areas for the passengers, as well as they are also ready to make a direct contract with the resort so they can provide the lounge space for the passengers. So I don't think there will be any issue for the passengers for getting lounge space. So my question is, why are you so much concerned about this, since this is very, very minimal amount? Even you have stated the revenue figure, not even the profit.
Yeah. It is, as I mentioned to you, you are right. Our most important is to run the operation, right? Launch revenue is very minimal. It is not I'm talking about on the revenue. I'm talking about the concept. The whole concept today, why you would have seen seaplane operations have started in other areas in the world. How did we grow from 4 passengers from 1993, November 4, to 1 million passengers up and down? The model. For the model to work, we need to have control on it. And as he mentioned as well, right, they also made this investment based on this. If we do not have control, I can tell you the seaplane industry will die very soon. That is, I think we all brought this industry to this level. What I'm asking from you is take it to the next level, right? For that, we did a good job, and that should be continued. That's all that I'm asking for.
Yeah, I would just reiterate, I think
As I'd mentioned earlier, having that integrated model where we can provide a full solution to our customers is critical. To take away an element of that full solution will hamper our business model. I don't think you can go to a resort today and say, you know, your reception area doesn't generate any revenue. We'll run your reception area for you. You run the rest of the resort. They will not agree. It is an integral part of the customer experience, of the offering they give to their customers. And just as it's important for them to control all aspects of their resorts, it's important that we control all aspects of our business. And that was the basis on which we had negotiated with MACL in good faith, that they'd agreed to the proposal, and that is the proposal that we are just asking for them to honor.
You have highlighted the compensation issue repeatedly. As per the Auditor General report and some other information I got, I don't think there is any commitment from the MSCL for you to compensate the 18 million that you are talking about. So I have a concern because you have repeatedly highlighted the 18 million issue. So why are you so highlighting this compensation? Do you believe that you will have to compensate this 18 million?
I agree with you, right? We agreed, we didn't pursue that. In a fair world, I think if you have invested so much, you should be compensated, right? But we did not pursue. We went for an agreement, and in return, you see, we were also having a common terminal and a separate terminal on a selling point makes a difference, right? I agreed to a common terminal. I took a step back, right? I was okay with it. And also we didn't, because looking at the bigger picture, there will be more tourists coming, the runway will be there, the international terminal will be there, we will get benefited, just forget the uniqueness, right? So we did, why we mentioned this is, we did not pursue at that time, right, this. And the rate and everything, we agreed to it. I believe if you would have pursued, I do not know what is the outcome going to be, but the board, everybody agreed we are not going for that. We will get the terminal and we are happy with it, country is doing something good, we will agree to that. That's what our policy was. We supported the industry, we supported the government, and that's what our principle was at that time. And we believe in return, they will honor the same.
Okay, so I think, yes, I believe, I agree that you invested, that you built the existing seaplane terminal, and what I believe is you got a very cheap rate in return. Okay, next question is, you denied the Auditor General's audit report, and you said that the profit is too much, 4 times overstated. Did you share any launch rate or any rates with them? But I know Auditor General, they did an audit for MSCL, not TMA. But did you share any rates, any launch rate or any rate with them, with the Auditor General?
I need to check whether the rates are being shared. We never shared definitely individual rates, I would have never shared, that is for us. But I can tell you one thing, not myself, there was a representation made to the Auditor General, and more than 2 hours it was the person spent with the Auditor General and explained the whole thing. It was done. But I am not sure about the rate. I had to.
I think if I recollect, our representative met and indicated a ballpark range of our aggregate revenues, similar to what is represented here. Obviously, at that time, we had not had a third-party audit done of our lounge revenue, so we didn't have the E&Y audit. But the representative, prior to the release of the AG report, as Fauzi said, did spend considerable time with the AG and did indicate a ballpark range of where our lounge revenues are.
There's one more thing also I just want to clear. Some of my friends, I've been told by some of my friends in resorts, some resorts, that they were approached by Auditor General to get some lounge rate, but you threatened, TMA threatened them not to share any rates with the Auditor General. Is it true?
It is not true.
Last question is, here's a audit report done by EY, right? Who was the engagement partner of this report?
Mr. Krishna Rangaraj.
Is there any person, anyone in EY who is, there is a direct relation with you, Fauzi?
Absolutely, you know that. That is, my brother is a E&Y partner, right? But when they do, this was given to Krishna Rangaraj.
So, the audit, one of the partner, EY partner is your own brother, right?
That's correct.
So do you think
In this case, do you believe this report, that we can rely on this, the independency and all those things, since you are denying the Auditor General's report, and do you think in the same situation we should accept this report?
I will just make one more general comment. E&Y is one of the most globally reputed accounting firms in the world that has significant internal controls to make sure there is no conflict of interest and that anything that goes out with an E&Y, a surety of audit, meets a certain minimum standard. E&Y, when we invested, we realized that one of Fauzi's close relatives was at the firm. We had extensive conversations with E&Y at the time, not related to the lounge revenue, but to the overall financials of the company, and got comfort that E&Y was following all their global practices in the Maldives that they do globally to make sure that the audited financials for the company they were putting out were fair and accurate. And I would represent that, yes, you should rely on E&Y's reflection of what our lounge revenues are, because they are fair and accurate.
And the last question is, who is your external auditor?
It is E&Y.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Now,
one thing that I would like to state, even if you do this with the KPMG, it is the same results and it is in the books of accounts. It is that number is there.
And we're happy to have KPMG or PwC provide you a fresh audit of our lounge revenue if that was to provide comfort to Honorable Member.
it is not a decision made by the committee, it's just personal questions from the Honorable Members. So we will have our deliberation, and once we reach a decision, that would be on the report as well. So it's not
I was just saying, since the Honourable Member raised a concern of conflict, which I understand, we're happy to have a different party redo the work because we stand behind what this report represents.
Right. Thank you, Honourable Member. Now I'll give the floor to Mr. Honourable Ibrahim Fazul Rashid.
Thank you. I'll put forward some direct questions to you, and if you could reflect me back, then could be a little bit faster. When is your current agreement expiring? The date?
30th June 2000 and this year 30th June.
So it's 4 months or something like that to expire, right? And
can I tell one thing?
That contract clearly says, right? You can, yeah. Okay.
And does the contract says that you should be compensated?
No.
Basically, it doesn't state that, so meaning 8.5 million MSL don't have to pay you back. And then my next question is there any amendment to the agreement? Because you stated that that the new terminal, you will be allocated space from the new terminal. Is it because of an amendment of the current agreement that you have currently now?
Well, if I understood the question, in terms of the new terminal, we have the letters that were shared here in terms of the commitment from the board, and we have a draft contract that reflects these terms.
So, no, Mr. Fauzi stated that in the agreement it says that the new space will be allocated. Am I right?
Yes, correct. It is there. The contract is a letter which is been there, right, which comes and I sign it, and the CEO of the company signs it. Extension for another 1 year, that is until 30th June. Yes, correct.
So
it constitutes a contract.
So basically you have an extension amendment or letter, sort of a written document stating that new facility, you'll be provided space in the new terminal. So you have been negotiating with, I understand that you have brought the industry up to this level from 4 passengers to maybe 500 passengers per year. But I also believe that your period of your lease period is over because you already are serving an extension period. And then why do you believe that it's only you should be provided with the separate terminal operation? Separately, only you will be, let's say, given the chance to operate the terminal separately.
Yeah, I never mentioned that. And if you can recollect at start that I told, when they designed in 2017, right, when the design came, I saw there was no space for the other operators. I highlighted that and I said, right, you have to include this. And they made changes to the design. Everywhere along the terminal design, yes, we had an experience in the seaplane, right, and we gave our input in good faith, and also we made sure there is space for the other operators. We did not go back and ask or fight for a separate area. Though we were so large, 40% we are doing. We never did that.
If I could just add, sorry, I apologize, Honorable Member. Just to be clear, we're only asking that we be able to control and operate the area allocated to us. Other operators who get their space allocation can operate their own area independently, just as we do ours. We're not asking that we operate the entire seaplane terminal for all the other third-party operators. We're only asking to control our own operation, not those of others. And I will also just add to your previous question of compensation. I think the part of why it's important to highlight is because in that commercial negotiation, we agreed to no compensation for our existing facilities. And on the flip side, MACL agreed to give us a certain amount of space and commitment for tenure and rate. All we're saying is you can't lose sight of both facts. So, we're not asking for compensation today, but we are asking that we forwent compensation in lieu for a certain set of terms, which included our ability to have certainty of space and rate for 15 years, that part of the equation also be honored.
I understand that you don't have the bargaining power at this moment, saying MSEL should award the negotiations that you have taken so far with MSEL. And then I also believe that equal opportunity should be provided to other operators as well. And internationally, for example, all operators share airports and terminals equally. So it's just for your, due to your business model, you're proposing similarly to control all facilities. And then I'm just noting it down for the records. And I also understand that your contract is already expired, am I right? And they have provided an extension up till 30th June 2020. So basically saying it would be better for MSEL just to retender this. If you are not, we want you to be there. We want you to be there. But if you are not willing to renegotiate, you mentioned that you do not want to renegotiate the terms and conditions. Why don't you compromise on yourself and give the opportunity or to all operators equally and renegotiate the terms and conditions with MSEL just to go ahead with the term operations?
So, Honorable Member, Fazil and Fuzzy, we did negotiate in good faith for almost 3 years. We did reach a set of terms after that negotiation which provided for other operators to be in the building, and we are obviously not privy to what negotiations MACL had with other operators. All we're saying is that we made the largest investment in the Maldives on the basis of the result of those good faith negotiations, that that good faith result be honored. And other operators can absolutely be in the terminal on whatever basis that MACL and them agree to. We're not opining on that at all. We're only saying that we will move to the new facility and we need to secure our own future.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Now I'll give the floor to Yasir Abdul Latif. Honorable Yasir.
Thank you, Chair. You might have to repeat some of the things, but I'd like to ask. I'd like to know the area of in square meters of your current terminal. Is that 11,000
have given that, right?
Yeah.
The current, we have 10,530.
10,500, yes.
All right. So you're saying you're accompanying there around 450,000. Am I true?
450,000.
Passengers, right? Correct? Yes, it is correct, 450,000 passengers.
So, after looking at the latest, you said
It's one-way passengers, huh? Return passengers. So you double it, 900,000. You got it? Yeah, okay.
So you have said you have signed 10 new contracts from new contracts. How much more passengers do you expect from that?
It all depends how the Maldivian tourism works, right? Definitely, we are expecting a very high growth. We are expecting over the period 7 to 8% until, if you take January, right, it was a 20% growth before the virus hit for us. So we are finding it difficult now with a 20% growth compared to last year. And last year we grew by, I think, 15%. So that is what we are growing. Passengers, huh? I'm talking about passengers. Passengers last year 15%, this January was 20%. This year we thought it will be a good year. The coronavirus came up. So this is what we are expecting. We are expecting a high growth in the Maldivian tourism.
Yeah, I can see a copy of the letter that was in 30th July mentioning about the 31,000 square feet, is it? And later on the August, they have said that you have said that they agreed for 19,000. But is there any letter mentioning about the 19,000?
I believe the 31,000 includes the MRO facility, and the 19,000 is just the terminal. So the overall allocation was both, and the draft contract that was set demarcates that more clearly.
So can you actually say the value of the investment after this August? Do you have a value? I mean, you have invested looking depending on the letter from the MSCL, isn't it?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question, Honorable Member.
I mean, you only have some letters from the MSCL, isn't it? You don't have a contract with them, isn't it?
We have an existing contract, as Fauzi mentioned, and we have a draft contract and a letter from the board, which is a commitment to, like I said, space, tenure, contract length. And in the more detailed documents that were exchanged, there are schematics that were provided with the appropriate space demarcated for TMA. We're happy to share that with you.
What I'm saying is that, okay, you have said about the new facility was mentioned in your contract, but later with another question you have said that it was a letter. What we call a contract is where both parties sign, isn't it?
The time when they made an investment, there cannot be a contract made at that time. Still it was going on. So we have to rely on the letter, a commitment, a firm commitment given by them. And also a government gives a letter, and a foreign investment like Bain, which they do, one of the biggest private equity in the world, they rely on government letters. And based on that, and letter was part of it. The most important, there are growth on the Maldivian tourism. There were several factors were taken into consideration when the investment was made. And for that, one of the most important is the passengers can grow, everything can go. If we don't have space to do it, how can we run an operation? So this letter was crucial for them to make an investment. And we believe a letter constitutes a contract, and also a proposed contract was given.
Okay, thank you. So you said that a contract was proposed, isn't it? And I would like to say what exactly you don't like in that, because why, that's the reason why you didn't sign, isn't it?
The reason is, I can say the wordings of the contract, but there was no dispute on the rate, there was no dispute on the space, there was no dispute on the length of the contract. So if you take these main three, right, there was no dispute. But always there will be language mistakes, right? So it has to be corrected. So it is a lengthy contract. So the language mistakes were corrected.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Now I will pass the floor to Honourable Sambaid.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, TMA. Yes. Definitely, TMA has been a good part of tourism, and it's really helping our tourism to grow and develop. Thank you very much. Well, I don't have a question to see how much business you do, how much profit you make, or anything. What we are discussing here is that TMA is saying that the MACL is not respecting the commitments they have made to you, and based on that you have invested so much. Sorry to say that the attachments you have put on this paper, I can't see a very clear commitment saying that you will get that much of space for the trade. One, they said they have sent to the board and they will discuss and come back to you. They have come back to you. Then the other letter, it says the final area will be included within the agreement, lease agreement, which is not signed yet. So I have a request to submit, and also to Chair, please to request to MACL to send us the letters and the documents, what they have negotiated, what they have committed to TMA, to this committee. Thereafter, we'll be able to go through it and come to a decision, I think. And at this point, no other questions I have. And talking about the compensation for the existing terminal, which you have said very clearly that the existing agreement is ending soon, within months. So maybe a copy of that agreement also, if you can get from MSCA, then we can look into it and we'll see what we can do. Thank you so much.
We're happy to provide, I'm sure MSCL will give them to you, but we're happy to provide the copy of both the existing contract as well as the draft contract that was shared and the schematics showing all the space allocation. I think we may actually have a copy we can leave with you.
Yes, if you can get from TMA as well, if you can get the documents from MACA, that will be very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Member. I think in general we have had a good discussion and we have got a lot more information on Afifus. All right, I will give second opportunity to 2 more honourable members and then I will close the meeting. So I will first give the opportunity to Honourable Ilyas Dabi.
Thank you. I think based on the press release from Ministry of Finance, you are not happy with it. And it says they will give a 2-year commitment for loan space is also a serious problem for you. So in your proposal that MSCL before it was 15 years. So what is the time period that I think we need to find a way that how we can move forward. So what is the agreeable time period for the lease agreement for the new terminal? Now it says, Finance Ministry says 2 years. The other thing is you have requested 11,000 square meters for launch space, but Ministry says 5,400 square meters. So is there any new proposal from you? Because now we know that MSCL is not honoring the commitment based from the information you have provided us, that they are not honoring the commitment they have made. And now we have new proposal from Ministry of Finance saying that this is the space that they can provide. So if you don't agree with this, and what is your new proposal, I think we have to come for middle ground to move forward. We can't keep stuck in here, because lot of, I think, will damage to goes to you and to the government.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think we are not the party to do the negotiations, and I think we very clearly know our role as oversight committee and what our responsibilities are. So you need not to comment on the negotiations and the terms of what you seek with the committee, but your concern, yes, we would like to hear. So I would also urge our honorable MPs to keep the questions in that context in that regard. So please continue, Honorable Elias.
When Finance Ministry came out with this press release, is there any meetings or any discussions held with TMA prior to this press release from Finance Ministry?
We had a representative from TMA and Bain had met with the Finance Ministry to express our concerns. The first we heard of the proposal after that was in the press, so there were no other conversations that were had with the Finance Ministry prior to the release of this current proposal.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Now I will give the floor to Honorable Hassan Afif.
Yes, I just would like to know, because in 2014 what you have requested terminal lounge space is 13,000 square meters. Now you want 19,000. No. I am just waiting for their response. Terminal lounges 13,624 square meters. You have asked in 2014, right? Now you are asking for 19,130.
I think, Honourable Member, the like-for-like comparison, because you have to add terminal lounges and terminal operations, which would add up to over 22,000. That is the comparable number to the 19,000.
Okay. So, are you happy with this number, 19,130, for the space allocated?
Yes, that is what.
That is what you are asking.
We are asking for, yes.
And the other question is, now there's going to be you have a draft agreement with you, right? And there is a period, a tenure. So you are happy with that one, the period?
Okay. Yes, I think the 15 years that was originally agreed with MACL, we are happy with that term, yes.
Thank you, Honorable. I think we have clearly understood what Bain Capital and TMA would like to have and what your concerns are. I think we have been furnished by all the concerns and information that you feel that we should have before we deliberate on the matter. And also, I think all of our honorable members are quite aware of what constitutes a contract offer, and an acceptance and reward should be there to constitute a contract. So all those things we will consider in our deliberations, and we will meet other stakeholders as well before we make a conclusion on the matter. Then thank you very much for your time and sharing the concerns that you have in one of the biggest investments in the Maldives. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson.
dihi masirikan taragi kurma kurenje masaketa waragina masirina odivering amilla masakatu masirikan kurierwa taragi kuriru ya gaykura minwara ves masirikamge jinai kurierumge rangol siyasate kuri sarkar taku bengule fenei ekan hallukurumge gotum food cold storage capacity mihar hori dihastanu ahastana adi pelorge capacity ataru hastana ituru kurma miharge terega invest kureven
ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಮಸ್ರೂಮ್ ಫಾಹಕೊಲ್ಲುವೆ ಖಬರ ಮೌದೂಮಾತ್ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ತಫ್ಸೀದಿ ಗೊತೆಗ ತಿಬೆಫುನ ಹಮೆ ಗೆನಿಸಿಲ್ಮಕಿ ಅಳುಗೊಂಡ್ಮೆಂಗೆ ಮಸೂದೇತು ಮಿಕಂ ಕುರ್ಮಂ ಅಳುಮೆಂ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ದುವಹಕು ಮಿ ಗೆನಿಸ್ತೇನಿ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮೇದು
ರಾಜ್ಯಗೆ ಎಕ್ತಿಸೋದಂ ಅಣ್ಣ ಮುದ್ದ ಬದಲ್ತಕ ತರಗ್ಗಿಗೆ ಮಶ್ರೂತಂ ಹಿಂಗ ನುಂಗ ಗೊತುಗೆ ಮೌಲುಮಾತಕಿ ಆಮ್ ರೈತುನಂ ಎಹಾಮೆ ಮುಹಿಮು ಮೌಲುಮಾತೆ ಏಕಂಕಮ್ಗೆ ಮಸೂಲಿಯತ್ ಹವಾಲೆ ಫಾವಾ ಬೇಬೇಫುಳು ಮೆದುರುಕೋ ಆಮ್ ರೈತುನ ಹಮೆ ಗೆನಿಸ್ತುಮಕೀವೆಸ್ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮೇದುಗೆ ಮುಹಿಮು ಸಿಮ್ಮಾಯೆ
ಸಿಯಾಸಿ ಮಸ್ಟರ್ಗ ಬದಮುಂದ ಹಾಲತ ಸಿಯಾಸಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿತ ಕುಂಬಾವ ಹರಕತ್ತಕ ರೈತುಂಗ ಮಜಿದ ಕುರ ಮಸಕೆತಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರುಗೆ ಸಿಯಾಸೌತ ತಂಫೀಸ್ ಕುರ್ಮ ಕುರಮುಂದ ಮಸಕೆತ ಏಕಮುಗೆ ಎಮ್ಮೆ ಇಸ್ಬೇಫುಳು ಮೆದರಿಕೊ ತಿಬೇಫುಳ್ನ ಹಮ್ಮೆ ಗೆನಸ್ತ್ರುಮಕಿ ಮಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಗೆ ಮಾಯಗಣ ಮಕ್ಸದ್
इज्तिमाई रकातरे कंकाशवरकु मट्टक अमिल्ला फरातकुन्ना जमिया जमातंग आदि मी गितुरुन सरकारो कुरा मसकेतकी मी वरबस मुहिम कमे मिकंततके इस अलमन तू कोलांड दायराइनो मिकंकमुगे फुरिया मालूमात अगेंस्तेनी राज प्रोग्राम
මේ බලින් රක්කාතිරු මට්ටක කොරවෙන අර ආදාය කන්දත්තන්ගේ බෝරි ආගොන් මෙන්න මේ බලින් රක්කාතිරු මට්ටක කොරවිදාන මේ ෆර්තම කමක ෆහ කොලම් බේනමනි ආගොන් මෙන් මි බලි ජිහිෆාවා මි මිසාලක බ්‍රඤ්ඤාම රෝගාය ජිහිෆා ඒ කොම්මෙ මිහකි රෝගාය ජිහිෆාවා කොම්මෙ මිහකි කොරෝනා වෛරස් ගේ මේ බලි මිහකෙනු කොරෝනා වෛරස් සේ ඩෙෆිනිෂන් ගේ ආමුක බේනමන මේ චයිනා ට්‍රැවල් ක ෆහුරු then hennu kamagawe misalaka roga jehonna mehaka prevention e gotu ganagam me jehenim noniyam ane alamattak fennum feshima noniyam roga jehone kessam feshima emme muhem kamaka me nani kessa ki bihala yaruga ama tissue ka halecche beno kurum angamatiga elum then e tissue was awmen mar bodal me fahaga by fahara amilla jiba was lebetan e baade ehen nahadashe ama agutun dispose kolla ara dustbin ala ashe and then ege turun egota benokurma fahogawas hama aadaage sabonilagen addo elias eba mi virus un salame veve aadaga detergent kun eba mi virus un salame veve mi kala aadaage kandattake avunmena kuravidane salame mattaka adi ege turun ಅವನ್ಮೆಂಗ್ ಅವರ ಅಮ್ಮ ಕೊಂಡು ಫೆನೊಂ ಕಮ ಗವೆಸ್ ಫೆನ್ನ ಕಂತತ್ತ ಗೊತ್ತರೇಗ ಮಗುಮಚ್ಚ ಕುಳುಜೆ ಹೊಂಕ ಹಾಲ ಕಂತತ್ತ ಮಿ ಕಂತತ್ತಕು ದುರುಹೆಲಿ ವಾಂ ಫಶಾಂ ವಿ ಎವ್ವಗುತಕೆ ಮಿ ಕೊರಿಮ್ಮೆಸ್ ಮಿ ಕೊಗ್ಗೆ ವಾನ ಕಂತ ಕನ್ನು එක ಮಿ ವಗುತಂ ಫಶಿಕೆಂ ವೆಸ್ ಕಂತತ್ತ ಕು ದುರುಹೆಲಿ ವಾಂ ಫಶಿ ದಾನೆ ಎ ಹಿಸಾಬು ಮಸ್ ಪ್ರಿವೆನ್ಷನ್ ಗೆ ಮೆಥಡ್ಸ್ ದ ಫೆಟಿ ಮಾನೆ ಮಸಕ ಫೆಶಿ ಫೆಯತಿ
මේ කොම්මේ වැක්සින දිනම කේස් එකම් ගසාව මේ නේදේ වැසර තක් කොම්මේ සරක කුරමත වණ කම දැන් හිමබි සං අල්ගොන් මං ආම් ගොතේ ගමෙද MR වැක්සින් නෝනි MMR වැක්සින් දිනම කේස් එකම් ගසාව බයි ෆාරු නේදේ වැසර ත ෆෙන දාන කම ඒගතුම් ෆෙන දාන කම් කොම්බලාර එම ෆර්තම කම කම මේ වැක්සින් ජේ හිතන් මේ දුලවේ රයිවේ නෝනි එතනුග ගඬුලා මේ කාල කන්දත කුරමත දාන දැන් ඒගේ ඉතුරුම් බයි ෆාරුග වැක්සින් දිනම ෆහුග හුන් අතුවේ දාන බයි ෆාරු ගෑග බිහිතගෙ නගා ෆාන බයි ෆාරු මේ බොලගරිස්සා මේ ගෑගරිස්සා එකකාල තල්තකාරි හුන්තා මේ කුරමත දාන අදි බයි ෆාර මේ මේණු බා කුරමා බොයිම්බරුන් කාල කන්දත කුරමත දාන එහෙම මේ හගිගතුග මේ වැක්සින් ලිබේ ෆයිතාතක බලාරු මේ කුරමත වා නේදවසරතා කි වර ආදාග වර කුදි කුදි කන්දත එහෙම අනේ මේ නේදවසර කි අනෙක් වැක්සින් දෙ කොම්මೆ කුජ්ජ කන්නුනේ කොම්මೆ මීහක වෙස් කුරමත වාන කංකමෙන්නෝ මිවස් වර මුහිම කමෙ